Hey there, ladies. Happy Wednesday. It took me a second to remember what day of the week it was. It has been a busy week. If you are watching this live, please say hello. I'm going to do a sound check here in a second. Make sure that I can hear myself. But if you're saying, or if you're watching live, say hello. It's good to see you. Hey there, Cassandra. Hey there, Morgan. Guys, I have been out in the wind. Perfect. Sound is working. I've been out in the wind. We are starting into T-ball practice this week, and it has been nice and windy, of course, right? Start off T-ball, and you got to have some wind to go with it. So you get me and my full hot mess self tonight. I literally like walked in the door, threw dinner on the table for the boys, and came up to do my live. So no prep, hot mess express, coming to you real, raw, authentic, my full real me self. But thank you for coming in and hanging out with me. I hope you guys are having an amazing, amazing week. Say hello if you're catching this live. Let me know that you're watching it. If you catch this on the replay, of course, drop replay for me so I can come by and or swing back around and say hello. Those that are new in my group, I know I have a few of you. I forgot to tag you in this morning's post. This week, I'm telling you, has been nonstop. But those that don't know me, welcome in. I'm Alexandria Doherty. I am a woman's worth and empowerment coach. I'm here to just help you really believe in yourself, believe in your worth, to then build that confidence and go after whatever it is that you are dreaming or desiring. Maybe it's being a more present mom. Maybe it is being a better spouse. Maybe it's going after some big, scary dream, but you haven't believed in yourself enough to do it. That's what I'm here for. That's what I've created this space for, to support you on your journey, to cheer you on, and just to create a safe environment for us to hang out in. And I am glad and thankful that you are choosing to hang out with me. So thank you for that. I had a question last week and it made me do a lot of thinking. And it was asking about an overanalyzer, or how like we overanalyze things, right? And one thing that was really helpful for me when I was going through the mastermind that I was in to help me launch my coaching business, we had our own mindset coach, and she was phenomenal. And I know I have some ladies in this group that are from the same mastermind, and I know they could attest to it. She was an amazing coach. And one of the most powerful mindset classes that she taught for me was when she really broke down that inner critic and broke it down into small bite-sized pieces and helped me to see who I was, identify like those inner voices in my head that are always holding me back. And so that's what I wanted to do for you guys tonight, because it was so powerful. It gave me so much value. And of course, that is what I am here for, is to add value to your lives, to add value to this space. So I hope you get something from this. But I really hope that this live hits a little bit deeper for you. All right, because it's not just mindset that we're talking about. We are talking about that inner voice that can be so powerful and so frustrating. And oftentimes it runs the show for us without us even realizing that's what it's doing, right? But before we dive in, I just want you to know that you are not broken, all right? You are not failing, and you are not alone. We have that voice, and sometimes that voice can be so loud, and it can be so convincing, but you are worthy of moving away from that and not letting it decide your value. Okay, so let's jump right in. Again, if you're watching this live, say hello. If you catch this on the replay, say replay if you relate to any of these. And at the end, I would love to know which one you relate the most to. I would love to know that in the comments as well. But let's talk about that inner critic. We're going to start big picture, and then we're just going to break it down into smaller chunks. But I want you to think about that voice that you hear in your head, that one that whispers to you, you're not ready, when you are on the edge of doing something big. All right. It might be that voice that picks apart your reflection, your parenting, your work, the one that sounds like logic, but it feels like shame. And shame is a whole other topic that I would love to dive into on one of my future lives. That's probably 5 lives in one that we can pack in, but that's like, shame can be unpacked and is so deep. But that inner critic can really make you feel that shame. And again, I think I talked about her last week. Brene Brown is somebody that I've been reading or listening to a lot of during my morning routine. And she really jumps into shame and breaks it apart to where it's super easy to understand. And what's really cool is they were actually talking about it in my son's SEL class today. And I kind of got to listen in on that conversation, which was awesome because he is somebody that really struggles with that self-doubt and with his confidence. He is an overachiever. He definitely has that perfectionism going on. So I constantly find myself having to reframe the way he thinks and trying to guide him through that. So, like, that shame can be so powerful. And it was good to hear them having that conversation at such a young age and making them aware of that. But when you hear that voice, right, that's your inner critic. And believe it or not, she really thinks that she's helping you out. She's there to keep you safe. But in reality, what she's really doing is keeping you small. And what's even crazier than that is it's not who you think you are that holds you back. It's who you think you're not. Okay. So let's talk that core critic, the original voice. She is the OG, right? The voice that you probably absorbed in childhood. Maybe that be from a parent, maybe that be from a teacher, maybe that be from religion, society. She's not necessarily loud, but she is constant. She is consistent. She doesn't always scream at you. She might, but she doesn't always scream at you. However, she's judgy, right? She judges you for every little thing that you do. And she is always evaluating you, every single move you make. Some of the core characteristics that you would see within her is that black and white thinking, right? There's right and there's wrong. There's good, there's bad. There's worthy, there's not. Those are the things that you're going to see. Oftentimes, that core critic is going to be highly opinionated about how life should look around you. That core critic hates failure and oftentimes will hold on to shame, that shame that you feel for years. And like another really hard one, believes that if you're struggling, then it has to be your fault. What she often says is, you should have known better. That wasn't the right way to handle that. And another like really hard one, that comparison, right? That look at her. Why can't you be more like that? She's loud, she's annoying, she's frustrating, and she's rude. She's so rude. Some real life examples for you though. Maybe you are scrolling social media. You see another mom that is making homemade lunches, color-coded schedules, has everything mapped out. And you immediately feel like you are failing as a mom because you're reheating chicken nuggets or last night's dinner. That one can be loud. And I like that. It was one of my struggles. Guys, I am not a crafty mom at all. I am not. I wish I was, but I'm not. Like, the mess makes me crazy. The chaos makes me crazy. And creativity in that sense is just not one of my strong suits. And I do, like, I have to watch myself because I am the one that I see that and I'm like, gosh dang, I need to be better. I need to do better. And it's so easy to let that voice be really loud. Okay, so another voice, something else, or another example is you lose your temper with your kids after a really long day. And she immediately jumps in and tells you how terrible of a mom you are and how you always mess up. Give yourself grace. Give yourself understanding. We get overstimulated too, just like our kids do. Maybe another example. You forgot to pack your kids' lunch, or you missed a school email and instantly feel like everyone must have it more together than you do. Again, that voice can be so loud, and we are oftentimes so difficult on ourselves, so hard on ourselves. Okay, the second one that I want to talk about, and I talk about this on a lot, is the comparison queen. This is the shady one, right? She thrives on highlight reels. And her mission is simply to convince you that you're always behind, always lacking, and never enough. Some of her core characteristics, she only shows what others are doing better. She lives on social media. She speaks in shoulds and not enoughs. And she loves to compare beginnings to someone else's middle, right? Like you see the success of people, and maybe you're just starting out, and you automatically go, well, why am I not there already? I should be there. Okay, that's that voice. That's that comparison queen. You don't know where that other person's at on their journey. You don't know how long it's taken them to get where they're at. You don't know the struggles that they've been through to get there. Okay. And some of the things that she might say is, you call that a business? Look at what she's doing. Or you're already too late. Or that post flopped. Why even try again? Some more real life examples. Maybe you finally get brave enough and go live. And this is for some of my coaches that's inside this space. But you immediately feel crushed because someone else did the same kind of live and got 100 likes on the same topic that you just stumbled through. Right? I don't know how many times I've come on here live and I don't have an audience. So it's so easy to be like, well, what did I do wrong? Instead of, really stepping back and seeing that bigger picture and reframing it and meeting it with truths. And I talked about this last week too, like meet it with truth. I know right now is busy season for me. So I also know it's busy season for my audience. That is the beautiful thing about doing this live and then posting this is people can come back later and watch it. And oftentimes they might not engage, and that's okay, but that doesn't mean they're not watching, right? I had somebody not too long ago message me that I had no idea had been watching my content because they don't engage. But they sent something that made me realize, like, there's people watching and I'm inspiring them, so I've got to keep going. All right. Maybe you log into another one of your social media accounts and you see a mom doing a big themed birthday party, matching outfits, homemade cupcakes, and now you suddenly feel like a failure because you ordered pizza and used Dollar Tree decorations. That's me, by the way. Pizza and Dollar Tree decorations all the way, right? But it's okay. It's okay. Or maybe you hear another woman talk about her career success, or maybe her perfect marriage, and you start wondering, why can I not get my life together like that? Why can't that be me? All right, so that is the comparison queen. And we'll talk more about these, like what to do with these. I just want to get through these first, kind of talk about them, meet them where they're at, and then we'll talk more about what to do with them. All right. So the third one is the people pleaser. This is the mask wearer. She's the one that's going to sit there and tell you that you will be lovable as long as you keep everyone else happy. She's also the one that convinces you that your worth is tied to how well you meet everyone else's needs. Some of her core characteristics is she is the master of shape-shifting. Feels guilty for having needs. Hates disappointing people, even if it costs you your own peace. And struggles to say no without an explanation or an apology. What she'll often say is, don't speak up because it'll make things uncomfortable. Stay small, right? You're not allowed to have an opinion. Or maybe just go along with it. It's not worth the drama. And sometimes, you know what, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it is not. Sometimes it's better just to step away from the situation. But other times, how often do we stay small because we don't want that confrontation? Because that voice is telling us that we are not allowed to take up space. Another characteristic is you set a boundary and then all of a sudden have that feeling of selfishness. And again, these are all things, ladies, that I've had to work through and I still work through. Setting boundaries is a big one for me. So some more real life examples for you. Maybe you agree to take on another project, even though you're already drowning, because you're terrified that everybody else is going to be upset if you say no. Or maybe you agree to volunteer at school, even though you're already maxed out, because you are afraid of looking like the uninvolved mom. We had this conversation, my husband and I did just the other night, because we went from basketball last week, like we literally wrapped up basketball last week, to T-ball this week. And it's practice every single night, which is fine. Like I love seeing my boys involved. But one of the things that Brene Brown is talking about in the book, and it was super powerful. So in fact, I'll share it with you ladies. She talked about making 2 lists. On the first list, make like your list of things that you want to accomplish, right? Maybe it is remodeling your house. Maybe it's going on vacations. Maybe it is making this amount of money, whatever it is, right? Whatever it is that you think that you want to accomplish or that you know you want to accomplish. Okay, that's your first list. Your second list is the things that you already have that makes you happy. What in your life right now makes you happy? And then compare the 2 lists. She then went on to say, when she did that with hers, like, of course, her list had remodel her rooms, go on all these big extravagant vacations. And I don't remember what else was on her list, but then the list that made her happy was being home with her family, everybody being happy and healthy, just being present and in the moment and not having to run all these different places to feel like they're accomplishing things. And she said it was kind of an eye-opener for her to see the 2 lists on what she thinks would make her happy, right? Versus what actually was making her happy, and to find that she was content within her space. And that doesn't mean don't have dreams, right? That always pushes us, and there's nothing wrong with that. But then she also talked about, and this is what I was getting to with T-ball and basketball, like having ourselves spread so thin that it's hard to achieve those things that are on our list of happiness. And she talked about having to go through that mom guilt of, she told her kids, like, you can choose one sport, one event, or one extracurricular, and that's what we're sticking with. But that way we can have time as a family. And I see so much value in that. But she talked about how she felt like the guilt of being that mom, of not letting her kids be involved, and she hopes she's not ruining them and ruining their chances to go to Harvard or whatever, right? But when she stepped back and saw the happiness that was coming from it, from not being spread thin and not having to go, that she knew it was worth it. And that conversation, like I brought that up to my husband and we talked about that, going from basketball last week right into T-ball this week. And because our boys are far enough in age that they're not on the same team, we have practice Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night. And that's how it is. And I'm not sitting here complaining, but rather just that awareness of how thin that's going to spread us, how much extra stretchier we're going to have to be in the next several weeks, the next couple months. Like we spread ourselves so thin, and we do this to ourselves all for the sake of making sure that we're super involved in everything, right? And there's something to be said for that. Like I love sports in the sense of the skills that it teaches our kids. But I also love not feeling like I'm worn so thin that one little glass tipping over is going to set me over the edge. So all that to say, it's okay to have boundaries. It's okay to say no. It's okay to know your limits and keep those limits in place. Okay. So another real life example, and this goes right along with it, you cancel your quiet time or your self-care because your partner needs something. Somebody in your circle needs something, and it feels selfish to say no, even though you are running on empty. Okay, so the next one is that perfectionist. Oh, and that one, she's awful. The perfectionist is rough. But that is that high pressure voice. She looks polished, but in all reality, she is fueled by fear, which is crazy to think about. And one thing that really like shifted my thinking when I heard that the first time. Oftentimes that perfectionism is just fear in disguise. She convinces you that perfection is the only way, the only path to acceptance. Some of the core characteristics: you set impossibly high standards. You equate mistakes with failure. You make a mistake, you automatically fail, right? It makes you feel like rest is the same as laziness. And it paralyzes you with that, what if it's not good enough? So what she might say to you, what that perfectionist, that high pressure voice might say: you can't post that, it's not ready. What will they think if you mess up? If you don't get this right, don't bother at all. She's harsh, right? And some real life examples. Maybe you've been planning your business launch for 6 months, but you haven't posted anything. Even though you've been planning for 6 months, you haven't posted anything because your branding isn't perfect yet. Your messaging isn't perfect yet. And again, this goes to my coaches, it's inside my space. Or maybe you won't let your kids, and this is me, like I will raise my hand on this one, you won't let your kids help with chores because they won't do it right. And it's just easier to do it all yourself. And then you resent how much you're carrying. And this is one that I am actively working on. I just find it easier, like if I get it done and there won't be any extra messes made, it'll be done while they're doing their thing, right? But in reality, they are missing out on important skills that they could be learning. It lightens my load that much more. Once they do learn the skill, it might take some time to get there. There might be a lot of messes made, but it would lighten my load tremendously if I'm willing to let them jump in. But I gotta let that perfectionist get out of the way first. Maybe you never feel ready to post your offer or go live or start the thing that you're dreaming about because the timing, the branding, the wording isn't perfect yet, right? Ladies, I mean, I know you've seen it on my posts, but if you're new to my space, I am running for Mrs. New Mexico in 3.5 weeks. I decided about 2 weeks ago that I was running for Mrs. New Mexico. And I had this opportunity a couple years ago, and I chickened out. It wasn't a good time. Like every excuse under the sun. I'm not ready. I've never done a pageant. Gosh, I don't even know what other excuses I used to talk myself out of it. And again, in reality, it was just fear in disguise as perfectionism, right? So this year, as I launched this coaching business, and I'm in this space where I am blessed to be here for you guys, it's only fair and it's only right that I talk and walk the same path. If I'm going to sit there and encourage you guys to step outside of your comfort zone and to believe in yourself and not to let things like perfectionism get in the way, it's only fair that I do the same thing. And I'll tell you, it has been a rough couple of weeks, even this week. Like I feel like this week I'm really starting to feel it. Like part of it's just the different things. I have to order shoes because I don't have pageant shoes, right? So I had to order those. Got here, one pair didn't fit, the other ones they sent the wrong color. So now I'm waiting for those to go back and to get my new pair, which they were supposed to be here Friday. Now they're not supposed to be here till Monday. And it would be like old me would have been like, you know what? That's just a sign. That's a sign that I don't need to do this. I'm done. But this version of myself that I'm working on now, where I don't let the fear stop me, is recognizing, no, that's just fear trying to get in your way. Go with the flow, roll with the punches, right? All the cliche terms, it's going to be okay. And I know I'm going to come out stronger on the other side of this. And I am so stinking proud of the work that I'm putting in to get there and the fears that I'm facing to get there. And that's what I want inside this space is these women, you women, going after whatever it is that you desire. It doesn't have to be something big like Mrs. New Mexico, right? But maybe you have a dream that you have buried deep because you've let things like perfectionism get in the way. Fear get in the way. We'll call it what it is. You've let fear get in the way. So the next one is the overachiever, the busy badge wearer. And this is one that I also struggle with a lot. This one's probably my biggest inner critic, but she's addicted to productivity and performance. It feels wrong to sit down and rest. Slowing down feels unsafe. And she measures your worth by how much you do and what you accomplish. Okay, some of the core characteristics for this inner voice is that constant need to prove value through achievement. You struggle to celebrate success or go on to the next goal. You avoid stillness because it might reveal what she's avoiding. And you hate asking for help because it feels weak. And some of the things that this inner critic can say, the overachiever, you can rest after you check everything off the list. You don't deserve to slow down. You haven't done enough yet. Or you're falling behind, pick up the pace. Some real life examples for you. You're sick, you're burnt out, haven't had a day off in weeks, but here you are, still answering messages at midnight and scheduling 5 calls in one day because that's just who you are. Or maybe your to-do list is never ending, even after cleaning, cooking, working, helping with homework. And you lie down at night and think about what you didn't get done instead of focusing on, oh my gosh, look at everything I accomplished today. Or maybe you feel guilty about resting on the couch while your partner takes care of the kids for a bit. So you get up and just fold some laundry to feel useful. And again, guys, these are examples of myself. These are definitely things I struggle with. So the next one is the imposter, which is your doubter in disguise. This one pretends to be humble, but again, it's really just fear in disguise, fear in a costume. She's the one that'll sit there and tell you you're a fraud. Your success is luck. That eventually everyone's going to see the real you. And again, stepping into this space, stepping into this coaching space, this one is a hard one and one I'm still learning how to navigate through. Some of the core characteristics is this one will downplay your flaws. No, this one will downplay your wins and make your flaws seem bigger. This one dismisses compliments or praises. How many times do you get complimented on how nice you look or some accomplishment that you had and you just downplay it like, nah, it's no big deal, right? Avoids visibility because it feels unsafe. Believes others are more qualified, even with less experience. And what does this critic say? They're going to figure out you have no idea what you're doing. You were just lucky. This win wasn't real. You're not ready. Keep learning, stay small. So some real life examples again. Maybe you get amazing feedback on a project or on a post, but instead of celebrating that, you brush it off and say, oh, I don't even know what happened. It was just luck. Maybe someone compliments your parenting or your strength, and you immediately deflect that with a joke or say, thanks, but I'm actually a mess. And another crazy thing, and this one again was such an aha moment for me. I don't remember what book I was listening to, but it talked about exactly that, like how even when we make those jokes, those deflections like that, your mind is still hearing that. And you're wiring your mind to believe it, even if you're meaning it as a joke, even if you're just deflecting the comment to make yourself feel comfortable, right? Because it can be hard to take compliments. But when you say those things, when you make those jokes, when you deflect those comments or those praises with something negative, ladies, you are making your brain believe the negative part. That's what you're telling your brain to believe. So we've got to stop doing that. Or maybe you've been asked for advice or support by others, but you don't step into that leadership. You hesitate. Instead, you think, who am I to help anyone else when I'm still figuring it out myself? That's the best time to help somebody. So I want to ask, if you're catching this on the replay, which one of these voices is the loudest for you right now? And let me go back through them again. We had 6 of them, I think. So just your core critic. But from there, we had the comparison queen. We had the people pleaser, the perfectionist, and the overachiever, and the imposter. Which one of those do you relate to the most? Mine is definitely imposter and overachiever, with a little bit of the others sprinkled in. But then my next follow-up question to that is, what has that critic cost you? Maybe it's time. Maybe it's energy. Maybe it's peace. Maybe it's opportunities. What has she cost you? What dreams are still sitting on that shelf because she keeps showing up and making you play small, making you pass up on opportunities because it's not perfect enough, because you don't believe that you're the person to show up and do it. You are not her. You were never meant to be at war with yourself. But the first step, and this is what I have found the most powerful, hey there, Marlinda, is to recognize her, to name her, give her a name, and then separate her from you. Because she's not you. All right? Give her a name, give her a face, picture her like your alter ego. And then the next time you hear her speaking up, try this. And it sounds crazy, but stick with me, ladies. Thank you for meeting me here, but you're not needed. You were built to protect me, but now you're keeping me small, and I'm done with small. And of course, vary that to fit you and your language, right? Thank her for being there. You can sit with her for a second, but then tell her to move on. All right, guys, that's not toxic positivity. That is reclaiming your power. And again, if you watch this live, thank you for being here. If you catch this on the replay, thank you for watching through the replay. I am so honored and so blessed and so fortunate that you choose to hang out with me. Ladies, you're not here by accident. All right, this conversation was meant for you. And if you're thinking that this is me, like Alex spoke right to me tonight, I want you to know that you're not broken. Okay, you're just believing a lie. And I encourage you, let's talk. Jump into my Fearless and Worthy Mastermind. Okay, these are the things that we break down and really, really work on, where we unattach ourselves from that inner critic and reconnect with your real voice. So if you are ready to finally make that shift, go ahead and drop ready in the comments. or send me a message if you don't want to do it on the video, and we can talk about what that looks like to walk through it together. Okay, or if you want to know more about my roadmap, where I give you a questionnaire, you fill it out, I break it down for you and send you a personalized plan just for you. Drop roadmap in the comments or message me roadmap, and I would love to get that to you. Okay, you're not too sensitive, you are not too emotional, and you're not too much. You are worthy, you are enough, and you are absolutely amazing. Ladies, again, thank you for hanging out with me tonight. Empowering you always.